He's getting ready for it.
Of course he's getting ready for it. Because, yeah.
Oftentimes, owners try to correct their dog from a place of frustration. Unfortunately, when we do that, we end up punishing the dog instead of actually correcting the behavior. What I'm going to do here is watch this episode with you of Cesar Millan helping this family. They're pretty nervous. They have a new baby on the way, and they're very nervous about their dog becoming reactive, and they're quite concerned about what's going to happen when they bring a new baby into the family. What my channel is about is analyzing the dogs, not about rewatching the entire show. So I'll only be showing brief little clips of each scenario, stopping, pausing, discussing it, and then moving on. So if you'd like to see the full episode, I will put that in a link to that in the description below. All right, so let's go.
As soon as he sees another dog, he's changing his walk. He's like walking towards a prey.
So let's just stop right here. The owner's already nervous, and you can tell he's nervous just by the way he's holding the leash. The dog is straight ahead of him. There's already tension on that leash. Tension on a leash to a dog is a loud speaker to the dog to say, I'm nervous about everything around me and I need you to be on high alert. And the dog's doing exactly what the owner has communicated through that tension in the leash. He's scanning, he's looking for threats. And because he feels the owner is anxious, he's on high alert and he deems anything around him to be a possible threat. So he's just reacting to the owner's nervous energy. Just want to point out the collar position here. If you notice when I hit play here again, watch how low the collar is on the neck. Think of it as a communication zone and a pull zone. Anything that is below the dog's jawline. So you've got the ears here and then the jawline here. Anything below here is the pull zone. That's where they're going to pull, they're going to push, they're going to react. They're not hearing us communicating. Everything above there, so right along that jawline, just right at the base of the jawline there, all the way around, that's the communication zone. That's where our leashes need to be, or our collars need to be, is right up there, nice and high up, right behind the ear, the base of the skull, and under the jawline. Anything below that, the dogs aren't hearing us. We're not getting the right communication. So right away, this dog's already reacting simply because he's not hearing the owner. He's just pushing against the pressure on the collar.
Come.
In what state of mind are you at that moment?
I am actually in a calm state. Because I have my own thoughts.
I don't think so.
It's so important that as owners or handlers that we be truthful about our own emotions. Hiding our emotions doesn't work with dogs. They pick up on us. We release chemicals in our bodies that the dogs smell just from changing our mood or changing our feelings about something. As soon as we start to feel tension, we create chemicals that the dog smells. So right away, it's actually smelling our tension. So you can say you're happy all you want, or you can say you feel, oh, I'm thinking about everything else all you want. The dog knows how we're feeling just by our shift in our being. Say, okay, this isn't a good time for me to walk. I'm going to wait until I'm in a better headspace, or I'm going to pick a better mood before I start training, because the dogs know. They're mirrors of us. They know what we're feeling most of the time before we even know it.
Don't hide.
Well, after a while, I even get, I don't want to say aggressive. I wouldn't hurt my dog, but I'm getting frustrated.
All right.
Frustrated that I start yanking him a little bit harder, because he's just like, why can't you listen to me? Kind of thing.
This happens when we put a dog's name before the species. When a human does something, when a human disappoints us, we automatically think, well, why did they do that? They should know. They know me. They know how I feel. They're doing that as a direct attack on me. When a dog does it, they're not doing it despite us. They're doing it because of something that we've either triggered or because of something that they gauge as being a threat. It's very important when we're working with our dogs to put the name is something that humans do. Names, we name each other, right? I'm Colleen, this is Cesar. Those are names that we're putting on. But dogs don't go to the dog park and say, oh, there's, Toby, and oh, there's Bella, and there's Cooper. They don't think like that. That's not how dogs think. They think, oh, there's another dog. So we need to remember when we're working with our dogs that we're working with a dog. And it's okay to have a cute, fluffy name, but when we're actually training, we want to just forget about that name and just think of what is the dog thinking right now, because that takes the question out of it, and the, well, he should know better, or the frustration of, well, he's doing it on purpose, because dogs aren't doing it on purpose. Dogs live their entire lives to make us happy. They just want to make us happy. So when a dog makes a mistake, it's not because they're doing it on purpose. It's because they genuinely think that what they're doing is what we want them to do.
So worry means weak energy.
So your kids would feel it, and that would pass on.
Pass on.
For the dogs feeling that.
If my wife will be carried.
Here's the thing. When we worry, we bring that anxious energy into our homes, into our families, into our relationships. We also bring it into our relationships with our dogs, because our dogs are picking up on that worry. And so they're in this constant state of, I must protect my human because my human is weak, my human is vulnerable. A confident leader isn't sitting there worried about everything. They're not stressing. They're in control. They know what's going on. They project this energy of confidence. When somebody's nervous, to a dog, it makes that human feel weak or look weak. And so if their human is weak, they feel they have no choice but to protect.
On this side.
So it was really quick there. The reason that Cesar gave that correction is because the dog went from being curious, happy-go-lucky to ears forward, locked on, and fixated on this dog. And so even though unfortunately the camera wasn't able to get a very good angle of it, or they didn't get a very good clip of it, that's what Cesar was correcting at that moment. You saw the heel tap where he just went in, and what he was doing is interrupted that train of thought. He wasn't making a huge deal out of anything other than just the shift in energy that the dog had. It went from being curious, confident, to aggressive, dominant. And so he just wanted to say, hey, knock it off. Let's go back to being curious, confident. It's so subtle, right? This is why it's so easy for owners to miss this, because a lot of these things, unless you know what to look for, they're just easy to miss. Right there, the dog laid down, which was good. He did that on his own. But then as soon as the little dog started to go by, his ears went forward and his whole energy just kind of shifted. So he went from being, hey, what's up, to, hey, what's up? And Cesar corrected the, hey, what's up? I don't mind this. You can sit back here and relax all you want. But as soon as you move your body into this more alert, dominant position, that's what I'm going to correct. And you really see it in the ears. That's for somebody who's just watching this. Let's just play it back real quick here, because I just want you to watch his ears and see if you can notice the shift. Did you see it? It was so quick, but Cesar's timing was dead on. As soon as those ears went to go forward, right? That, even though it looks like it's just ears, his whole mentality changed at that moment. He went from, okay, cool dog, to, wait, a dog. And right away, Cesar corrected him. And look at how quickly the dog got the message right away. It just went, oh, okay. And immediately went back to being calm, maybe a little confused, but definitely not in that dominant position again. That you just heard, the reason that he did that was because for a split second the dog was going to avoid. He went to, instead of being present and in the moment with Cesar, the dog went to try to look away, and it was very, very fast. But again, Cesar's timing was dead on there, because we don't want him to avoid. We don't want dogs, very often, if they're feeling uncomfortable with something, they'll try to avoid it. Well, we want him to face it, because we want him to understand that you can be present, you can be around other dogs and not react and not get into that dominant mode. But if he's going to ignore it, it would be the equivalent to an eye roll, right? I'm really good at that. I can never play poker because I roll my eyes every time I get upset at something, right? But it's the same thing. When I do an eye roll, I'm brushing off the lesson. I've heard something I don't like, so I'm trying to mentally just push it away. And that's what this dog did there. And Cesar just picked up on it, went, no, just knock it off.
Bring it back, bring it back. See, no tension on the leash.
Notice the soft eye contact between the dog and Cesar. This dog doesn't know Cesar from Adam, but he immediately understands that right now Cesar's in the leader role. So instead of scanning and trying to find a threat, he feels very confident. He knows Cesar's in control now, and he's looking to Cesar for context, for advice, right? He's saying, how do you want me to be now? How should I be? Because this is all new to him. And it just shows how quickly a dog can shift from being in a very dominant feeling he has to protect everything to just a more relaxed, calm, okay, I'm here to be with you in the moment, and I don't need to guard.
Come on.
Again, just a quick, we didn't get to see it because the camera was kind of on a different angle there, but it was just a very slight, you notice he didn't have to do a harsh correction. He didn't have to, there was no big deal. That was just to snap him out of that very brief, can I get excited now? And oh, okay, no, right? That correction was just to interrupt that. That's it.
That's right.
See, and this is a perfect way for the dog to receive this other dog. It's sniffing. Yeah, there's, you can see a little bit of the whites of the eyes. He's definitely a little confused because he's never been able to do this before. It's always, every time he sees another dog, the owner pulls on the leash, and he's associated that leash being pulled as I need to be dominant around other dogs. And so now he's having to rethink, okay, well, I see this dog and I can't react how I normally do. So that's why we're seeing a little bit of the whites of the eyes there. Even his face is a little concerned. That's just him processing all these new changes. All of a sudden he's got a new rule book he has to play by. So he's doing a really good job. I love how if you watch the nose, he's starting to sniff the air. He wants to meet this other dog and he's curious. And this is how dogs meet each other, is through their nose, right?
That's what they're supposed to do. He is finally learning how to meet a dog the way normal dogs meet dogs. Okay, now we're gonna...
Notice how relaxed he is now. That other dog is like, 2 feet away from him, and he's like, okay, well, this is how I have to be now. No stress. He's not upset now. He's not trying to kill this little chihuahua. He's very comfortable just laying here, letting the humans talk, and not at all worried about what's going on with that little dog.
Go to the owners and see if the owners can practice this behavior.
And you can also tell that this dog is calm by the reaction of the little chihuahua. Notice the chihuahua is not tense. The chihuahua is just alert and casual, kind of looking around. He's not. If this dog was in an aggressive state, this chihuahua would be trying to either, well, it's a chihuahua, it'd probably be trying to eat his face, but typically, if one dog is being aggressive towards another dog, the other dog will either react by mirroring that image, or they will try to avoid it. And in this case, this little chihuahua is just along for the ride. He's very happy to be here, has no problem at all with this big dog.
He wants her to experience the feelings of a positive walk with Cosmo.
All right.
I love how right away she just picked up the leash and started walking. She didn't do the, come on, puppy, come on, or, got excited. She didn't do that. She just picked the leash up and walked. And that is such a great exercise to get into with your dogs. Don't get them all excited and then expect them to be calm on a walk. Reach for your leash, snap the leash on, and walk. Don't say anything, not a word, just nice and quiet. Notice how the dog is just naturally following in her footsteps. He's not trying to rush ahead. He's not lagging behind. He's just very calmly walking with her. This is like the absolute best picture of a person walking their dog that you could ever ask for.
Let him pass. Just stay in the moment. Don't worry about it. This is a day that you don't worry about it. You're not allowed to worry. That's right.
Once she...
That gentle tail wag, the tail wag, you can't always go by a tail wag because tail wags can mean different things, but this is a very relaxed, rhythmic almost. It's almost like it's just a little dance. This dog is in absolute perfect harmony with its owner. He's very aware that there's a Chihuahua behind him. He's not at all concerned about the Chihuahua. He's just walking with his human. And notice how there's no tension on the leash. The leash is short, which is what we want, but there's still a tiny little bit of slack in the leash, which is what we want. There's no correction. There's no need for one.
Let's go of her tension. Victoria walks Cosmo like a pro.
This is a miracle. And like I said, I don't believe in miracles, but that's it right there.
But are you afraid right now?
Here's something I just want to point out, that dogs, they are a miracle. And it does feel like magic when all of a sudden we start communicating with our dog in dog language instead of forcing our dog to communicate with us or understand us using human language. That's one of the reasons why Cesar's techniques work as well as they do, is because he's speaking to them from a dog's own language, and he makes those connections by observing and seeing how dogs react to each other, and then translating that into human language and saying, okay, this is how a dog would handle this scenario. Let's do it this way. And the dogs pick it up. It does. It actually feels like magic when it happens, when you actually speak a dog's language and the dog communicates and says, oh, okay, that's what you mean? Oh, I got that. Easy. No problem. Dogs live to make us happy. Our dogs spend their entire waking day thinking of different ways to make us happy. That's all they want to do. Don't we owe it to our dogs to take a couple minutes to learn their language and to try to speak more to them using their own language instead of stressing and getting upset when our dogs don't understand us speaking to them in our language?
The source of the problem becomes apparent when Cesar asks Armin to handle Cosmo while another dog passes by.
So right away, he's given this dog, what is that, 3 corrections? I just want to back up for 2 seconds here. Let's just go back here. I just want to count it.
When Cesar asks Armin to handle Cosmo while another
1,
dog passes
2,
by.
3,
He's getting ready for it.
Of course
4,
he's getting ready for it. Because
5,
yeah,
6, 7, 8.
okay, so Victoria, what
So that this poor dog has just received 8 corrections that I could count, and that was, there may have even been more that I'm not even seeing right now, but that's 8 corrections. And here's the twisted part. The dog did exactly what the owner asked him to do. As soon as he put tension on the leash, as soon as the owner saw Cesar approaching, he immediately projected onto the dog his fears of what this dog was going to do. He said, in his mind, he went, oh God, there's a little dog coming. My dog's going to react. I better pull on the leash. As soon as he pulled on the leash, this dog's already picked up on his, remember we talked about earlier how as soon as we start feeling nervous, our dogs pick up on it. They can smell the chemicals in us, right? So if the dog already has associated nervousness with this dog, then all of a sudden the owner pulls on the leash. That just reinforces the dog's first initial instinct, which was, oh, my owner's nervous, I better react. Now the owner pulls on the leash, the dog follows through. Now all of a sudden, the dog's doing exactly what the owner's asked. I'm nervous, protect me. The dog goes to lunge, and he gets 8 corrections for doing exactly what the owner asked him to do.
2 tenths.
Okay.
Come on, relax. One thing you have to understand is, yes, you are getting...
Even though there was still a little bit of tension on the leash, do you notice how as soon as he stopped doing all the corrections and stuff and he stopped reefing on the leash, the dog's instinct was just to lay down. That's what the dog wanted to be. The dog wanted to be calm, and the little dog is still there. Cesar is still right there with the little dog. But now that he's not getting jerked and pulled with the leash, the dog's instinct is just to lay down, because that's what he wanted to do in the beginning. But he thought he was doing what the owner wanted by reacting to the pull.
Getting tense. Yes, you are getting frustrated. Yes, you get angry. Nothing wrong with it. What is wrong is when you don't want to acknowledge this is who you're being.
See, here's the thing. We're humans. We're allowed to be upset. We're allowed to be angry and frustrated. That's totally normal. What we're not supposed to do is try to project that onto the dog, or to try to correct the dog when we're in that state. Because let's face it, when we do that, we're not really training the dog. We're not correcting the dog. We're just punishing the dog. And when we punish the dog, we're temporarily making ourselves maybe feel a little bit better, but we're not teaching our dogs anything. In fact, we're communicating that we're disappointed in them, or that what they're doing is somehow causing us more distress.
Now, I want you to stay right there so you can see. All right? I'm going to be your role model.
So right there, just a second ago, he did the shh. And the reason he did that was just to, again, like we talked about earlier, just snap him out of that. Wasn't even so much of a snap him out yet. It was just a reminder at that point. It was a, hey, we're playing by my rules now. Remember, we went over my rules a few minutes ago, right? So he just gives him a quick reminder to say, okay, let's go back to how we were with the Chihuahua. And then as soon as the dog starts to kind of get excited and change his posture a bit, Cesar does a toe tap there. Now this time he's doing a direct interruption. He wants to interrupt that train of thought. I don't even want you to get excited right now. I just want you to stay calm. So he does the little toe tap there. And the other thing is I want you to notice the leash. He's still not reefing and dragging on the leash. His elbow is bent. He's keeping no tension at all on the leash, but just keeping his hand up enough that if he has to deliver a correction, he can, and then immediately go back to a non-tension. So he actually switches. Do you see that? He switched his position. He was holding the leash in this hand. He would have done this deliberately by just dropping the leash and putting it in the other hand. He's telling his body to just stay relaxed, because when he stays relaxed and confident, his dog stays relaxed and confident. So that it may seem like such a small move, but just that move from switching the leash from the right to the left and allowing there to be a lot of slack in the leash says, I'm relaxed right now. I don't need you to protect me. I don't need you to scan for threats. Let's just be calm together.
This is good.
Wow, I'm impressed.
So now,
do you see how the dog the mouth is open gently? He's panting. He's not stressed. This isn't a stress pant. This is just a very gentle pant. His mouth is nice and soft. He's very, very casually just glancing over at the dog. This is how we want them to meet. This is how we want introductions to be. So notice Cesar's not correcting him now, because this is what we want. And so by not correcting him, the language we're saying to the dog is, this is how I want you to behave around other dogs.
forget about Cosmo.
Yeah.
It's you, feeling free. You know, he didn't want to see his dog aggressive. He didn't want to see his dog being the bad one in the family, being the black sheep in the family. But the great thing about Cosmo is that he can actually...
You see that soft, gentle face? He is not at all concerned right now. He's just kind of, you know, yeah, he's paying attention. There's camera crew and there's people around. You can see that one ear is kind of going back. He's probably still trying to track where the other dog went. But he's just relaxed. He's not lunging. He's not trying to scan and look around for his next target. He's 100% at peace right now. And this is where we want our dogs. This state of being is where our dogs thrive.
Help Armit to get rid of frustration, tension, and anger. Now, if he would have done what he normally does with you, I would address it.
I love that tail wag. Look at how happy he is. He's going to cool down his belly here and stretch right out on the grass. He's happy. You couldn't ask for a happier dog, right? So what a difference from 2 minutes ago when the owner was doing 8 corrections. And that just goes to show how forgiving our dogs are. That's one of the reasons why I love dogs so much, is that we can make mistakes. Don't stress about it. If you've made mistakes, don't worry about it. You can fix them. Your dog will forgive you. It's okay. That's what we love about them, right? They're perfectly capable of just going along on this journey with us. So don't stress. Just keep working at being a better human.
Ever since we started working with them, they've become the followers, and I think they're ready to.
Wow, look at the difference. Like, this is crazy. I love just the position of these dogs. Notice there's no tension on the leash. He's like holding the leash with one hand, just kind of draped over his finger. It's not, he's not even actually holding onto it. Like, that's chef's kiss. I love it. I just want to point out what it looks like the dog's wearing is a weighted vest. These are great tools if you've got a dog that is either high energy or like a working dog, like a cattle dog or something. And it can be pretty hard to exercise those dogs just because they have so much energy. You can run them for 2 hours and they just keep going. If you've got one of those dogs, a weighted vest is a great way to add a little bit of resistance to your dog's walk, so that resistance burns them out a bit faster. So just a 1 pound weighted vest on a dog can, be the equivalent of, say, an extra 10-15 minutes of a walk. So that's a really great tool to use. I love them. I've used them on many of my training clients, and they work really good. It just gets the dog just into more of a, okay, I'm working mode, and dogs love jobs, so this is great.
We want for them to, every time they see you with a baby, to go to the highest level of being gentle around.
Okay.
So they go, that's.
I just want to point out, you notice how right away, as soon as Cesar starts, pretending to be excited, the dogs start getting excited. This goes back to me saying about how dogs are mirrors of us. So if we feel anxious, they feel anxious. If we feel happy, they feel happy. If we're quiet, they're quiet. That's the same thing. I love this exercise that he's doing because right off the bat, it may look like he's just trying to show an example, but what he's actually doing is setting the dog up to make a mistake so that he can do a correction right away. Let's face it, this baby, she's gonna cry, right? Babies cry. To a dog, a crying baby is excitement. So what we want to do is teach the dog every time you hear excitement, whether it's me being a goofball and making all kinds of funny sounds or this baby crying, you are to give distance and be calm. And so this is just great that you can actually see this. Now watch how he's going to correct the dogs by saying, here's the space, here's my bubble. You need to respect that bubble. I do not want you to come into my bubble until I invite you in.
It's excitement. There we go. See it? So the more, yeah. So the more you create the boundaries, the more they learn to do it from here.
I love this. Look at how curious the dog is, right? And this is such a wonderful curiosity. She's sniffing, she's using her eyes, she's listening, but she's really trying to take in the scent of this new creature that's just come in. And she's got such a gentle, soft face, right? This is very respectful. And by Cesar showing the owners that, listen, your dogs need to respect your bubble, what they're doing is teaching the dogs that this little human here is your new pack leader. You need to respect this little human just as much as you respect these big humans, because all three of these are your pack leaders and you need to give them space.
There we go, see that?
That lick lipping that you're seeing, the dog's excited and it's trying to calm itself down. Lick lipping is something that dogs do when they're trying to self-soothe or trying to calm their state from being too excited. So that's all he's doing. Dogs have all kinds of different ways to calm themselves, from licking. A lot of times you'll see a dog do a full body shake. There's all kinds of different, but this is the most typical, is what you see is a lick. And it's just the dog saying, oh, I'm so excited, but I have to give space, and it's being quite respectful. And again, you as the owner watching this video, if you're in this position, you will have your own comfort zone. You'll decide what works for you. Is the bubble going to be here? Is the bubble going to be back here? Maybe you'll decide that, no, I want my dog to stay at the stairs or at the doorway. Wherever your bubble is, that's what you need to reinforce to the dog. Just teach the dog, this is where your safe zone is. You're allowed here, you're not allowed over here.
So you can create a bigger circle, just for them to come in from over here. And eventually they're going to lower the head. That's good. Walk in, that's right.
I love how she walked towards the dog to push the dog away with her energy. A lot of owners, they will recoil, or they'll just instinctively start to move back when their dog invades their space. And by doing that, what you're doing is you're allowing the dog to basically dominate you. They're controlling that bubble instead of you controlling it. So by her stepping towards the dog, she's saying, no, you're going to respect me. I'm going to push you out of my zone instead of allowing the dog to push her back.
That's what dominant ones do. They walk in. So one of the other things that we can do is that we can, after you're finished with one of her clothes, you can put her in different places without them seeing you put it in the floor or in the couch.
I love this suggestion. I actually suggest this with clients when I'm working with them when they have babies, that when the baby's in the hospital, take their diaper, take a blanket, even bring a couple blankets from home and get their scent on the baby and take those scents home, put them in places around the house. And every time the dog goes to approach those objects, teach the dog to respect that scent, that object with distance. So, I mean, the dog's instinct will be to run up and try to smell it, right here. But let's face it, dogs can smell all the way across the room. They don't need to be right here. So what I do is I get the dog to stop maybe 2 feet or 3 feet before the object and say, no, this is where you need to stop. So you teach them right away with that smell, I must give that specific scent distance. And then that way, when you bring the baby home, the baby has that same smell, and the dogs already have, even though they'll be excited, they already have that lesson taught to them that this smell equals distance.
And well, the energy you guys are projecting is incredible. It's great. From the energy that...
Look at that correction that she just did. Mama Bear's got her baby, and she's just projecting it right there. She went, knock it off. See, we don't have to do a physical correction to correct our dog. I am all for being quiet. I don't like to use my voice when I'm training dogs when I don't have to. But this kind of a correction, or snapping her fingers, that pointing works really, really good. These are all very powerful, dominant moves from her. She is speaking loud and clear in dog language right now. Give me space. And look at the dogs are absolutely respecting her.
What we want is eventually, if the baby cries or whatever, they stay by the crate and telling you, they go to where you are and bring you back.
I actually have had clients do that where they've trained their dogs, sometimes even accidentally. The dogs just get to the point where they hear the baby cry and they instantly go and get the humans. Like, hey, your human's broken, go fix it. Dogs love jobs, and if we don't give them one, sometimes they just come up with their own. But yeah, that's really neat.
So if you get the mind excited, they're going to try to help you on their own.
Yeah.
And that's when they hurt the baby.
That's the bad thing, yes.
This is kind of heartbreaking, but just recently, I want to bring this up because Cesar just brought up a really good point. If we don't teach our dogs how to behave with a little one like this, they will just instinctively try to do what nature tells them to do. But the problem is that a dog picking up a baby is going to hurt the baby. When the baby cries, the dog gets excited, doesn't know how to handle that excitement, and that can cause an attack. We just recently, I saw in the news, I think it was last week, where that exact scenario happened, and tragically, the baby was killed because of it. I think if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I read the article, but I think the parents left the room for a minute, and the baby, I think, rolled off the couch or something and landed on the dog, and the dog wheeled around, and when the baby cried, the dog attacked the baby, killed the baby. So the baby died. Unfortunately, the dog ended up having to be put to sleep. And this is a prime example of why it's so important to teach our dogs, when even before the baby comes, but definitely right after the baby comes, to respect the baby, give the baby lots of space, and condition them to the sound of the cry. Teach them that a crying baby means relaxation. A crying baby means I need to go to my bed or go to my crate or curl up on the couch, whatever your habits are for your home, but start them right away. Don't wait until a crisis happens.
But if we allow just a little amount of excitement, and then it's like giving them a space to behave excited around the baby.
So this is the baby's room?
This is off limits right here for dogs in the meantime.
You notice how he just did a snap? He didn't have to chase the dogs down. He didn't have to do any severe correction. As soon as the dogs approached the door, he did a snap. The dogs retreated, and immediately Cesar just moved on to talking to the couple again. In dog language, when dogs deliver a correction, even if it's a severe bite or a growl or anything, when dogs correct each other, they do the correction and they instantly move on. They don't hold on to that anger. They don't sit there and fester over it. They deliver a correction and they move on. And this is a great example of that. The dogs went to move into the room. Cesar did a snap, which was the correction. The dogs instantly went, okay, message received, and backed up. Cesar turned around and went back to talking to the couple.
That was easy. No.
Message received. Like those dogs just right away, they know the assignment, right? They know now that when my owner snaps the fingers or points, that I am to give space, and you can't ask for better than that. Anyways, at this point, I am going to end the episode because the rest of this is just them coddling that beautiful baby, and so I will end the episode on that note. I do want to say I really appreciate you guys sticking with me and watching. It means the world to me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. You have no idea how excited I get every time I see a new subscriber. It means that my dream of starting my own channel is resonating with you, and I really do appreciate it. So keep having fun with your dogs, and I can't wait to see you again. All right. Thanks. Take care. Bye.